Hi there, welcome to Family Matters with Marc and Nikki. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about tattoos from a parent's perspective. I did a social media post asking at what age should we let our kiddos get a tattoo, and got quite a bit of feedback. So I'm excited to talk about that on the show today. So what's going on with you, Nikki?
Hey, you know what, Mark? I've had one of those weeks. I'm excited about what's coming up next.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what's coming up next?
I don't know.
Well, you got a vacation coming up, right? No? You got the giggles.
Can you start the show over?
No, we're just going to roll with it.
All right. I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I do have a vacation coming up next. And I'm that mom, right? It's like, okay, we got to pack. I've got to make sure everything's clean. I got to clean out the refrigerator, right? You don't want to come home to leftovers that are there they've already been in there a week.
Yeah.
You come back a week later and it stinks to high heaven. But something pretty exciting happened last night. And I don't say it's really exciting, but it's exciting from a parent's point of view. My son, he's 16, headed out to the swimming pool, just sitting there. I went inside, came back out. He was ate up with mosquito bites.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he had some type of reaction. We've never seen this before. I'm talking the size of a nickel. Imagine a whelp.
Just said nickel.
Nickel. Yes, that's another show.
Okay.
Right. So the size of they're huge. And we get him in and we're like, oh my gosh, he's having a reaction. This has never happened. What's going on? He had at least 25 bites all over him.
Oh, wow.
I use essential oils. You use essential oils. There's something called purification, right?
Yeah.
I grabbed it immediately go to that. I put it all over him. Every one of those little bites got a little dab. Within 5 minutes, my husband says, hey, you got to look at this. Look, they're just red. Within an hour, you can't even tell he had been bitten.
Wow.
It's crazy. It is crazy. So I'm sharing that with every parent I know, especially during this time of year. I go camping a lot. I'm going to be taking that everywhere I go.
Wow, that's a good story. It's also like a commercial. So if folks want to get some of that, right, they should reach out to you. That's funny. Check the details in the podcast below. We'll
You're
get you hooked
funny.
up.
That's funny. I have to share it.
Well, yeah, that's real life.
Yep.
So, but why was he getting attacked by so many mosquitoes? What was up with that?
I don't know.
Just like
He's sweet. He's a sweet boy.
he's got that blood type, right?
Yeah, he's got that. And Michaela was already in the pool. They don't affect her whatsoever. They don't bother her.
Huh.
So who knows?
Maybe it's a personality thing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I eat lots of garlic. I like to ward off the vampires and the mosquitoes.
Yes.
Just eat a lot of garlic. There you go.
Vampires bite a little harder than
Yeah,
most
they do.
mosquitoes.
Sometimes.
So anyway, that's pretty cool. It's been kind of a wild week on social media for me. I put a couple of posts up there, and people are strong opinions these days, and we're all a little bit more cooped up than we're normally. So people like to share their opinions on things, and I enjoy that. Right, I like to see debates happen on social media and stuff. And I don't take stuff personally. Right, somebody pounces on me because of an opinion that I have or whatever. I just like, okay, cool. I appreciate the way that you feel like that. Even with the language, of course. I was a cop for a long, long time. So getting chewed out with language was something that you can't take that personally, right? You just have to let folks vent and just kind of move through it. But what I found interesting is that I don't really have to defend myself very much on Facebook because there's lots of other people doing it for me. So they just kind of piling on each other and doing all that. But there's some good information, good opinions coming out there. So, but tattoos, this is something that I put up there. And, from a parent's perspective, I'm just asking the questions, right? I'm like, so, my daughter's 13 and I have no interest in a tattoo, right? This is not my thing, mainly because it's uncomfortable, right? The body art stuff, I've seen some great body art out there, right? And, I'm not a zealot in one way or another about doing it or not doing it, but it's just a lot of pain to have to go through for this thing. And what happens when you're old, we start getting older, and what happens to that tattoo and all that kind of stuff, and what if I change my mind? So anyway, but people have some pretty cool opinions out there on tattoos, but I was asking specifically for kiddos, at what age? So what age would you let your kids get a tattoo? Is there like an age limit in there somewhere, or maturity level? How would you deal with that?
Okay, so I saw your post, and the first thing I thought was, what an idiot.
Wow.
Tell me how you really feel. I'm like, why would you even put that up there? Kids and tattoos, those are two words that don't go together.
I was curious.
Like, kids don't get tattoos. Maybe, again, the little sticker, the little lick and stick tattoos. I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Iron on.
Ouch, that hurts. Always burns myself. Anyway, I'm not okay with that sometimes. Michaela was at a birthday party, got a little birthday bag, and there was a tattoo in there. It was a poop emoji, the little poop. And I'm like, no, you're not going to put that on you. That's gross. She's like, but why? It's fun. Finally, I was like, you can put it on your foot. so nobody can see it. Now put your shoes on.
See, now what you probably should have done is you can put it on your lower back.
That is not even funny. Or put it on your cheek.
Put it on your...
No, not that cheek. All right.
The other cheek.
All right. So
Your
my
ankle.
experience with tattoos, remember I have 22 years of experience raising kids, right? My daughter at 16 was begging me for a tattoo.
Right.
Mom, please, please.
So it does happen where kids will ask for tattoos.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And she's begging, like tears, because I'm saying, no, you can't have a tattoo. You're 16. It's not appropriate. She wanted a One Direction. That's a band.
Oh.
She wanted that tattoo. She wanted the word One Direction on her upper forearm. Or her upper,
Wow.
I don't even know what this is called.
Your bicep area.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That part.
Upper arm. Sure.
Yeah. And I was like, nope, can't do it. She begged me for 3 days. And finally I was like, look, don't ask again. The answer is no.
Right. The only place I'm letting you get a tattoo is in your lower back.
Stop it. Those are nasty. If they're done not tastefully.
Right.
I don't want to knock anybody. I know a lot of people that have those actually. I ain't judging.
No.
Nope.
Those are called tramp stamps, right?
Well, that is so wrong. You can't say that.
What?
Yeah.
No,
But
that's just what
there's
they're
a
called.
reason for that. There's a reason that the word tramp stamp came up.
What is the reason?
It goes back to 2000 BC.
We had tramps all the way back then?
All the way back then, right? So when mummies are excavated, this was
Like
recently,
M-U-M?
like
Mummies?
in 1980s when they were excavating the mummies. My mummy. They noticed a lot of the women had tattoos on their bellies and their thighs.
Not their lower backs.
No, not their lower backs. And they were saying that those were like the dancers or, the girls who, I'm just going to say prostitutes. That's what they were saying.
Oh,
they were
okay.
tramps. They were tramps in 2000 BC.
Yes.
But it really wasn't. It actually came out to find that they were tattooing themselves. That was actually
Like a
a
fertility
god,
thing?
like a fertility god.
Oh.
And that was a symbol, and that would bring goodness to the baby when the baby was born.
Nice.
Boom. There you go. A little research for you. So at 21, my daughter comes home. She's like, I got a tattoo.
Okay, so you said no at 16, and it was
No, at 16, and then it was never mentioned again.
for 5 more years.
Correct. When you turn 18, you want to get a tattoo, that's on you,
Okay.
literally. But I, as of right now, no. You need to be 18 and making that decision then. And even then, I don't suggest it.
I think that's state law, too, here in Texas. It's got to be 18.
It is state law. And that backed me up. I was like, nope, the law's 18.
Yep.
Well, I
I'll
can get
send
it
you
here.
to jail.
If you sign right here. Well, I know a buddy who has a tattoo parlor in his garage on the south side. I get it done for $20. No. All right. Long story short, at 21, she comes home with a tattoo.
Where?
It's on her upper chest area, like above the heart,
Okay.
like so. And
Right.
it's about the size of the bottom of a Coke bottle. I don't know. Is that a good size? Okay.
That sounds big.
It's a B, right? And it's not like it's a honey of a note, the
Right,
honey
it's a
nut
letter B?
Cheerio, the little cute little bee. No, it is like you've gone to a science museum and you've picked a bee off the shelf, and it's a 3D image of a bee. You can see the hair on the legs. You can see
Whoa.
everything. It is intense. And she's like, "Look at my tattoo." And as the mom, I'm like, "Oh, wow, honey, did it hurt?" That's all I could say, because I couldn't say, "Wow, why are you stoned? Are you drunk? What's going on? Are you on drugs?" Right? Because I don't know why in her right mind she would get that. But she's like, "No, I love it." She loves animals. She loves insects. She loves nature. So that's just what she got. You can't ever see it. It's hidden behind a shirt or a tank top. I've never seen it other than that one time. But I know
Oh,
it's there.
really? She doesn't like wear a swimsuit?
A tankini, like a tank. Yep.
That would cover it?
Yeah, it'll
Oh,
cover
okay.
it. Yeah. So there you go. So then come back and say, this was just recently. I said, so remember when you were 16 and you wanted that One Direction tattoo? And she just starts laughing. She's like, I'm so glad you said no. She goes,
Yeah.
I'd have to pay money to get that removed or covered up.
Right?
I said, that's exactly right. So you owe me an apology for being so rude to me. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom. I love you. I'm like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. So props out to the parents out there saying no to their kids for
Absolutely.
stuff that's a long-term damage, right?
Yeah.
So, all
I
right.
actually have a tattoo, Mark. I actually do.
Just one?
I only have the one. I waited till I was 35 years old to get it.
Were you drunk?
No, I was not. I was in my right mind. I even went, I wasn't living at home. I was on my own. I was a single mom at the time.
That's
and,
good you weren't living at home at 35.
Hey, there's a lot of people that can't say that right now.
There is. Yeah. Mom, I'm busy.
Shut up.
Get off the internet, Mom.
There you go. That's right. So I was 35 years old and I was like, you know what? I want a tattoo. My daughter at the time was almost 7 years old. And I just wanted something to symbolize her and I, because she is so much like me. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
So I got 2 peas in a pod.
I was just going to say you guys are like peas in a pod.
That's right. So that's what's on my lower left leg on the inside. It's not very noticeable, but then when you see it, you're like, oh, wow. Because it's probably the size of my palm. It's pretty large.
Prison green? Or is it?
And turquoise.
No, but is it
and
like
magenta.
very colorful? I don't think I've ever.
It's very colorful. It's very pretty. It's my own artwork. I drew it myself.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it has her initial, the letter L, is entwined in the vines. So it meant something to me. But before I got it, I drew it up, I colored it, and I took it back home. I was like, Dad, I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. He's like, where are you going to put it? And I was going to put it on my back.
Your lower back.
My upper back, right above the fat roll. It's going to be right there on my
shoulder,
like behind
area?
my shoulder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad said, why would you put it there? You're going to spend money, and that's beautiful. You should put it where at least somebody can see it. He said, and he's the one that said, why don't you put it on your leg or your arm or somewhere that people can see it? Because you don't want to just get something and then hide it, right? Mm. I said, you know what? Good idea. And I left it alone. I was like, gotta go, bye. Before he changes his mind, right? At 35, I still wanted that acceptance.
Approval,
that approval from my dad. I didn't want to disappoint him. Yeah. So, yeah, I have the one tattoo. It was an experience. You were right with pain. It's very painful. I'm just sitting there holding my best friend's hand, and she's laughing. She's like, you are so dramatic. I'm like, it really hurts. She's like, it's not that bad. He's like, it's okay. Hold still, sweetie. I'm almost done with the outline. So about 2.5 hours later. After about 30 minutes, you just kind of go numb, and you just like, okay,
right.
Just keep going.
Wow,
right?
it was a 2.5 hour procedure?
It was 2.5 hour procedure for mine. Mm-hmm.
Good grief. No, I'm definitely not getting a tattoo.
And it's beautiful. I've had it for, I was 35, so I've had it for 14 years, and it's still very bright and colorful. Yeah. And I love it.
So if Michaela comes to you, she's 9 now, right? But she's, she comes to you at 15, 16. Are you still going to be the same way about like not get it? Yeah.
Right. Absolutely not.
It's for their own safety, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Their own common sense, I think.
No, because we change. We definitely change our opinions and such. Yeah. If at 16, I think I wanted one of the most popular tattoos. In a survey, what's the most popular tattoo shape?
Yeah, hearts and angels, right?
That's right, a heart. So I think at that time I wanted a heart on the top of my foot, which I'm glad I didn't, because now I hear that's the most painful spot.
Wow, yeah, I think that
top
would
of the
hurt.
foot is the most painful spot because it's very, very thin and there's a lot of bone right there. Yikes.
I could probably think of a couple other areas that might be more painful, but top of the foot sounds.
This is a family show.
Yeah, the top of the foot sounds like it'd be really, really bad. Maybe. What about the forehead? You know what I mean? Let's just put it right there on the forehead.
Just write the word stupid, because that's what you are if you're putting that on your forehead.
Yeah, prison green, right?
Here's something I like about tattoos, and I'm going to say. It's not a bad idea for people with Alzheimer's to maybe get a tattoo.
Oh.
With their name or something like that.
With name and address or something like that?
Well, I don't know. Please return to 115683.
Social security number or something?
Well, not their social.
Yeah, I guess that would be bad.
That would be wrong. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like, that might be cool. Yeah. Have a little tattoo somewhere. I don't know.
Wow. Crazy. Yeah. So anyway, that's the bulk of folks that I was talking to or that were chatting on the social media post really were like, kind of like when they're a kid. No. Some of them were like, I don't want to ever see that on my child, kind of a thing. But obviously, when they're 18, they're adults and, they kind of go on, they make those own decisions. But we can suggest, or we can be like, exert that influence to maybe dissuade them from getting something put on their body. But, if they want to do it at that point, it's up to them.
Yeah. So I also think we're kind of conditioned for them. Like, we're growing up as little kids. Again, the birthday party bag had a little emoji tattoo in it. The stripe gum, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yep. I mentioned it last time. Sure. Every piece of gum you open has a little zebra playing something, whether it's the violin, on a surfboard, playing basketball, whatever it may be. And the kids want that. Oh, I want that. I want that. When I was growing up, that was out there. I wasn't allowed to put those tattoos on. Maybe once or twice, but no, my mom did not allow that because she thought it looked dirty. Even the candy cigarettes. You remember those?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. No, we weren't allowed to have those because those, not in my house. Jesus is in this house. No, them cigarettes ain't going to be in here. That's how it was.
That is conditioning folks towards, could be bad habits.
That's right.
With the cigarette thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tried. Did you ever try? You smoked, right?
I did.
Back in the day. How old were you when you started smoking?
17.
Okay. I tried it when I was young. Got into my aunt's stash of cigarettes and just try. I never inhaled. I know it sounds funny, but
Okay.
Because I mean, just in the mouth, but not into the lungs, right?
Okay.
Because
I get it. I understand that. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the thought of breathing smoke into my lungs is just not my deal. But yeah, that's something I could never really get into, was smoking cigarettes. So, but anyway.
I smoked for a long time.
Yeah, so the candied cigarettes didn't have a negative impact on me at all. So I'm just out
I just ate them.
Yeah.
And then some of you could blow on them and little powder would.
Yes.
That was just cool.
Was there gum associated with that too?
Some of them are gum too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Back in the day.
Takes you way back, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Things were simpler back then.
It was.
So when you got done with school, did you walk home, take the bus, like say 6th grade area? Where you
took a bus.
You were taking a bus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did too. It just seemed like there was like 2nd, 3rd grade, I was doing a lot of walking to and from school.
Same
It was
here.
quite a ways.
Well, elementary was closer.
Oh.
The boundaries of schools. It's only, I think, a 3.5 mile radius.
Oh.
Right, for elementaries.
I have no idea.
And then it can open up to 8 miles and then 15 miles or something like that for high school.
I just don't see maybe I'm not paying attention, but I don't see a whole lot of kids, walking great distances and just hanging out, after school and all that. Because, I mean, there was hours after school I had between, 2:30 and 5:30 when my mom would get home, and I had that whole time, and it was just out walking around doing stuff. And it's like nowadays that's like big time no. It seems like kids, of course, are doing homework, right? I mean, they got 3 hours.
They're playing on their phones. Okay, listen to this.
Right.
Get off the school bus right in front of the 7-Eleven. Who does that? That's where my money went. That's where my allowance went.
Yes.
7-Eleven. I was playing track and field and getting a Slurpee and just loving life.
Yeah.
And then
track and field. Is that where you're touching the buttons really fast?
You're like
yeah.
Real fast. Sometimes you get a pencil and hold it just right. And
I was never that coordinated.
I was totally into that.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I like to play Frogger.
Oh, Lord.
And Dig Dug. Dig Dug, you ever in Space Invaders?
Dig Dug? I never heard of that in my
life.
life.
Dig Dug. Oh, that's a good game.
Cubert.
Oh, I remember something about Cubert.
That's funny.
But Pac-Man, of course. Everybody played Pac-Man, right?
Oh, yeah. Still to this day, my daughter even plays it. Michaela's playing Pac-Man now.
Well, it's a good game. It's simple. You know what I mean?
But she doesn't have it with a tattoo.
All right. So we talked a little bit about tattoos. And some of the history of it way back a couple thousand years ago. So one of the things I found when I was doing a little research on it, the oldest known tattoos were discovered on a well-preserved body of a man found beneath a glacier in the Alps, right? Frozen, right? Okay. He had over 60 tattoos made with carbon ink on his body. So here's another interesting fact that you might not know. The oldest recorded tattoo ink recipe contained insect eggs.
Oh.
Okay, so an ancient Roman physician named Aetius, Aetius, created a tattoo ink that was found to contain pine bark, corroded bronze, that doesn't sound good, vinegar, vitriol, which is sulfuric acid, leek juice, and insect eggs.
Okay. Yeah, that's like, disgusting.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something you want injected into the second layer of your skin.
You're talking about insect eggs going into your skin? What if they hatch?
Well, I'm sure they would have been benign at that point, if that's disgusting. The right word.
And I think about today's lipstick. They said there's like blood. Like
what?
Yes.
Blood from what?
Bugs, blood, and guts.
Blood. Oh.
That's how they make red lipstick. I'm not lying. Look it up.
All right. Well, it's cool. Not like real blood.
So do we know how many Americans have tattoos?
No.
47% of all Americans have tattoos.
What? That sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot.
Of what? I wonder what the age group there is. If they're going like 18. Does that count the stick on and the iron on tattoos?
There you go.
I don't know why.
Can you imagine, Mom? This isn't working.
Oh my gosh, they probably would never want that again.
No.
So, all right, cool. So, anyway, that's what do you think? Yes, no on tattoos under 18. Or what's your ruling?
I'm a no. It'll always be no in my household.
Yeah.
For me and my household, we
Definitely
will not have tattoos.
So there was a guy who posted on social media a picture, and this has been a couple of years ago. His I think it was 14-year-old son that got a tattoo, and he was all excited about it. It's a pretty big boy. They got the tattoo, and so they posted it, and they got pounced on.
Oh, of course.
On social media. I mean, the hate came out big time. And the guy was like, I don't get it. Why are people upset? You know what I mean? It's like,
what was the tattoo?
I don't remember. But anyway, it was just crazy. So careful what you post on social media. You never know what
I was a victim. I was a victim of hate. You know what? I was a victim of hate on social media when I posted a picture of my daughter. We'll talk about that on the next show.
All right, cool. A lot of people are turning to CBD for a wide variety of reasons. The word is out that CBD works extremely well, and you can find it just about everywhere. But did you know that the hemp plant from which CBD is extracted is a phytoremedial plant, meaning it is very good at drawing up toxins and heavy metals from the soil, groundwater, and air? Avoiding heavy metals and other dangerous toxins in your CBD is extremely important. The CBD that my family chooses comes from one of the oldest organic hemp farms right here in the United States, where every care is taken to ensure that only the purest CBD is delivered to their customers. If you're looking for organic CBD products from a trusted source, check out the farming company that I recommend in the details of the podcast below. So that's going to be, what do you think? Good show?
Great show. We
Yeah.
always have some good information.
It's good fun.
I like it.
You know, when we're building up, so we talk for a little bit before we do our shows, and we laugh. I was laughing so hard. We had tears coming out. My guy liner was all over the place. I was like, I got to redo my makeup.
Too funny. But now as we're having the show today, I'm like, I think I might want another tattoo. So I'm going to maybe look into it.
Do a little research.
Yeah.
Find out what the ingredients are.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And then report back because we want to know.
Okay.
Inquiring minds want to know.
There you go.
Can I even say that, or is it trademarked? I don't even know. So, all right. As we wrap up the show, a quick reminder to check out our latest podcast on all the usual podcast platforms, and be sure you're following me on Facebook and Instagram at Mark Ebinger. Follow Nikki on Facebook and Instagram at Nikki Holland Talks. There are links to everything you need to know in the details below, or you can check out our website at eotalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next show.
All right. Bye, guys. Mark, you're going to lay off.